Hey, beautiful ones, Fran here, back with another podcast. So, before I go any further, you know that I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And you can catch up with me on all social media platforms at Angels with Fran. You can also visit my website at angelswithfran.org. All right, so I wanted to jump on and do this podcast today because I have really been thinking and seeking clarity about things in my life and just looking at how life is responding to me and where I am and where I desire to be and just life in general. And I just wanted to share some things with you guys today. So here's the first thing. Today, I was thinking about what I was going to manifest next, right? And how I was going to do it. And I was in my car and I was driving and I was having a conversation with God about just what those things were. And I was looking back over my life and I was looking at where I am now. I looked back, and I usually don't look back, guys, because really there's nothing you could do about the past, but sometimes you have to look back in the past so you can see how far you've actually come, how amazing your life is right now. So I looked back and I looked back and I looked back, and then I came forward and I thought about all the things that I have co-created with the help of Spirit and my angels and my heavenly staff. But I also looked at some of the things that I had created, but they weren't exactly what I wanted them to be. So you guys, I know, have probably watched that video when manifestation goes wrong. If you haven't, go check it out. I will link it. But this isn't really about my manifestation going wrong. This is more about me not being clear about what it is I wanted or I desired to have. Let me explain what I'm saying to you. Sometimes we get upset because we ask for things and we actually get exactly what we're asking for, but then we're mad because it's not that best thing that we saw, right? Or that thing that we intended it to be, but we didn't intentionally get clear and ask for that thing. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you want a new home, right? And you know what you want in your home. You know how you want your home to look. You can see yourself in the home. You have the idea of the home. You even know where the location of the home is, and you're ready for this home. But then you start to think about maybe the price of the home, the price it is to maintain the home, the taxes on the house, furnishing the home. And basically what you kind of do is you talk yourself out of that particular house, the real thing you want, your heart's desire, because you start getting back into that physical mindset of, well, can I really afford $1 million house? Can I afford $1 million house? How am I going to keep that up? You start to try to figure out the things that God and the universe figures out for you once you get clear and specific. And the reason that I thought about this is because I have been asking for things in a certain area of my life. And guys, I am really big on you don't talk about it and you don't share it until it shows up. So I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what it is, but I was talking to God today about why I didn't have it. Like, why don't I have this, what I'm asking for? Why don't I have it? And as I was driving and having this conversation with God, what came to me is that you don't have it because you didn't clearly state that was your desire. You half-heartedly stated, this is what I would like, and you weren't clear about it. Now, I know what you guys are going to say, and I'm going to tell you this. Being clear and being specific are two different things. When we're so specific, we're saying, I want this, I want it like this, it has to be like this, and it needs to look like this, and it has to be this and this only. That's way too specific. But being clear, stating clearly your request to God, knowing that that request will be met if you believe that it will, knowing that all you have to do is have faith and trust in that thing, knowing that God is all providing constantly, right? When that hit me back, when my angels came back to me and said, yes, Fran, you've been asking for this, but you've been asking for it wholeheartedly, kind of lukewarmly. You have not been saying where you'd like for this to take place. And there were so many details that I had left out. And I realized, now get this, guys, get this. I realized that I was doing that because I was a little afraid. I was afraid that if I asked for this thing, I might not get that. And I was afraid that if I would get it, I might lose it. Yeah, I was afraid. But I have to step back and think about how God has blessed me with every single thing that I have asked for and I have released and let go of, right? When I ask for something, I tell people all the time, when it comes to God, I'm a little bit spoiled, right? Because I expect for God to do exactly what I'm asking him to do. And in return, I too am going to keep my promises that I made to God. Now, before you guys start in on me, I'm not bargaining. This is not a bargaining thing. God and I are not bargaining about anything. I'm saying that because you are faithful, I want to be faithful. And these are some things that I will do. I constantly tithe. I believe in tithing. The principle of tithing is such a huge principle. I know that it works. That's why I teach it. A lot of people don't teach tithing because they're scared to talk about it. But once you educate people on tithing and they start to implement it in their lives and they see that return, they're so thankful you told them, right? Okay. There are things that I have told God that I would do in my life. I will do them regardless, right? If the good Lord never does another thing for me, I am still going to keep my promises to God, right? But we know that that's not how God works. He's always going to show up because that's what he does. So my question to you guys today is, are you clearly stating your intentions or are you half-heartedly stating your intentions? Are you telling God directly what it is you desire without hanging on to how it's going to happen? Or are you telling God what you want and then you are trying to figure out how it's going to happen and how God's going to do it? Not your job. Not your job. Once I realized that, I had to come back home and sit down with my manifestation journal and get busy, right? I had created a I deserve what I desire journal that has all these prompts in it that I haven't even introduced to you guys yet. But I love it because that's how I create. And I have so many journals that I had to really get clear, right, about what it was I wanted and how I wanted to look like. I could see myself in it, but when I was operating in a place of fear, I couldn't figure out how it was going to happen. But it's not up to me to figure it out. That's God's job. That's my heavenly staff's job. All I have to do is be faithful, right? And trust the process. So, how many of you are actually operating from a place of fear? Or how many of you and how many times do you find yourself desiring something and getting half of that desire because you asked half-heartedly, or you felt like that's the only part of the desire you could have because that's what you could afford, or that's the only relationship you can have because that's the only relationship you think you're worthy enough, or this is the only type of guy or gal or woman that's gonna want me. How many times have you basically settled? Because you really don't think that God will give you what you're asking him for? That is so deep, guys, and it is so huge. Think about that. You're going to God, who is the unlimited divine source, the end-all, be-all, creator of heaven and earth, holds the whole entire world in his hand, able to create just by snapping his fingers, can change your life in a minute. You're going to God and you're saying, I desire this, but I don't know how I am going to make that work. Or I don't know how I am going to make that happen. Listen, it is so not our job. It is so not our job. We have a couple of things to do, right? And here is what we have to do. We have to trust, we have to believe, we have to ask, we have to have faith, and we have to receive. Sometimes in our human form, all of that is so mind-blowing that we just get so twisted and turned up that it's just like, forget it. It's too much. But have you really ever thought about what you're asking God to do and how amazingly huge that is? And he says, if you believe for it, it's yours. You can have it. Does that blow your mind or not? Because it blew my mind today. So my question to you and the work, your work, this is going to be your work, right? Until we chat again. Your work is to find a way to remove the limitations off your life and off God. Firstly, if you remove the limitations off of God, you're going to remove the limitations off your life. Every single thing in my life has been co-created just by asking and believing. I am so ready for the next humongous leap because I know that the next leap is going to be even bigger and better than this leap. And it seems like around my birthday time, you guys know I'm a Libra, when October's rolling around, and my birthday is the first week of October, but it seems like weeks before that happens, I begin to have this elevation, transformation within my spirit of I'm ready. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So this year, I am going to call forth that thing that I was afraid of, and then I'm going to share it with you guys. Hold me to that. Intentionally create your life, beautiful ones. Intentionally claim your good. Consciously create. Do not allow life to do it for you. Because if you do, you will be disappointed. But if you take control and responsibility for creating it yourself, you will be amazed. All right. Thank you again. You know, you guys can drop me a line at angelswithfran.org. Click the Ask Dr. Fran button and leave me a comment, or leave me a comment here. Let me know what you think about this. I am so excited to see the magic that we will create together. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye for now.